The UK government has eased more coronavirus restrictions in England, Wales, and Scotland. The relaxed regulations are a reprieve for businesses in the retail and hospitality sectors, which have been closed since January. Industry players are hoping the changes will give Britain's ailing economy a boost after a COVID-19 induced recession last year. As of May the 17th, cafes, bars, and restaurants are permitted to serve people indoors. Cinemas, theatres, and sports venues are also reopening. The government says face masks are no longer compulsory in schools, and public meetings of more than 30 people will be allowed. UK travel officials say Britons are free to visit Australia, Israel, New Zealand, Portugal, and Singapore. Big tourist destinations like France, Spain, and Greece, however, did not make the cut. But the list will be reviewed every 3 weeks. Prime Minister Boris Johnson plans to lift all restrictions on June the 21st, with 70% of Britain's adult population having already received at least one jab. But a surge in infections linked to the new coronavirus variant from India could lead to a delay. Now, Rajneesh Narula joins me live from London for more on this. He's Professor of International Business Relations at the University of Reading's Henley Business School. Welcome to the show. Now, we know GDP contracted by a record 10% last year. The economy is now back on track. How long will it take before it reaches its pre-pandemic levels?
Well, I think that we're forgetting the challenge of last year. It wasn't just COVID-19, but also Brexit, which has been conveniently forgotten. And Brexit has accounts for at least half of the shrinkage in 2020. And we would expect that there will be a Brexit-related influence for at least 2021 and 2022. So we are going to see so even if there is a rebound of COVID-19 related shrinkage, there will remain a Brexit related shrinkage associated with it. So we're going to have to see growth. There will be some growth now because of the opening up. We will see a rise in retail spending, a post-lockdown exuberance in retail shopping, in restaurants, in holidays, and so forth. But people are spending money they saved over the last 9 months or 12 months, and this is not finite. They're going to run out of money. So restrictions are also not going to completely disappear. It's very likely that there will be some new form of lockdown as new variants start. For instance, like the Indian variant, which you spoke about earlier.
Now, even before we sort of take stock of those emerging challenges, what we've seen is more than 17,000 retail stores have shut down during the previous lockdowns. Many prominent chains have been wiped out. Do you think those brick and mortar businesses are ever coming back?
Well, on the one hand, I think that people really enjoy shopping, and I myself do not. But if you see the people rushing to Oxford Street, the lines outside Primark, um, and there is a certain satisfaction of physically going shopping. We even see Amazon opening up shops. So we're not going to see it completely disappear. What we will see is that a lot of these chains that shut down, that could not handle the transition were already suffering prior to COVID-19 from not being able to handle the 21st century, not learning how to combine uh, brick and mortar operations with online operations. And these are casualties of the times, and they have been hastened to their death a bit faster than people might have expected. And COVID-19 has simply made this happen much more quickly.
So perhaps the inefficient ones getting weeded out there. But we have a PriceWaterhouse survey out today which says more than half of UK businesses expect to feel some kind of a cash crunch over the next 1 year. So what does the government then need to do in order to ensure that those that survive continue to do so?
Well, one of the things if you think back, Theresa May referred to the fact that there was no magic money tree. And the British government did, in fact, find this magic money tree in the last year and a half or so. Um, if they, but this has been money they've been borrowing. As you know, they've got record borrowing, government borrowing over the last year and a half. Now, they can borrow more money and have some kind of debt relief system, but somebody will have to pay for this. And I don't think there is much leeway after spending billions on furlough schemes and other subsidies for them now to start discounting or subsidizing business loans. So this is going to be a very tough decision for Boris Johnson's government.
Now, I want to draw your attention to job losses. We've seen the youth and women have been disproportionately hit by job losses. Do you think there's a policy in place to help them now, or do you think that the recovery will be as skewed as the impact of the pandemic was?
Well, here as well, there is a Brexit effect. We know that about 1 million EU citizens left the United Kingdom during the pandemic, and these jobs are empty. But there is a skills mismatch, as you rightly observe. The kinds of jobs available, uh, the people who need the jobs, the youth and women and other minority other groups, do not necessarily have the skills needed for the kinds of jobs available. And it is important. There are schemes like the uh, apprenticeship levy that they're trying to create and train people for the jobs available. But this is going to take 2 or 3 or 4 years for it to have any significant effect.
So, in other words, then how long is this Brexit impact going to last, or is it some sort of a permanent disadvantage that the UK now faces?
Well, I think that we're looking at least 2 years before we see any significant recovery. So I would say 2023 is when we start seeing the Brexit effect becoming less significant.
Thank you so much for your insights there. Rajneesh Narula joining me from London.